Hello everybody, welcome back. We are going to go over a rifle today, one that you either love or you hate. It's definitely got its supporters and detractors, but we're looking at the Mosin Nagant rifle. This particular one is a 9130. Now the Mosin line would have started in 1891, I believe, and I think they were still producing models up into the 60s, I believe. Obviously, you have your other rifles that had come into play, the SKS and the AK-47, but the Mosin was one that that had a lot of staying power. I mean, even the Nagant revolver stayed along for quite some time as well. But the Mosin Nagant was was one of those battle rifles that has just seen so much fighting. You think 1891, this has been through World War I, World War II. I mean, basically every engagement that the Russians had been in, for quite some time. Just a supremely long-running rifle, and for good reason. Now, there are a lot of people that do not like this rifle, and there are some reasons. We'll get into those, but there's a lot of reasons to like it. One, it's still pretty cheap, even today. When these were first being imported into the United States, you could find them for, $60 to $80. And then they raised up a bit, like 80 to 100, and then, some of the variants started to come out. People started to realize, things like a hex receiver or made from the Tula factory were maybe a little bit more desirable. Distinguishing between, there's carbines of these, the M38s and the 44s and the Chinese Type 53s, and there's a Dragoon model, so people started realizing differences, and obviously, a lot of that with the supply, the demand was high, the supply did drop off, and then obviously completely dropped off a little while ago because of sanctions and so forth, and it is what it is. I'm not going to get political in it today, but very nice bolt action rifle to just have in the collection for the heck of it. Shoots a very nice round, 7.62 by 54R. There's a round there, nice big old projectile. I'd hate to get hit by that. Center fire cartridge. A lot of this surplus ammunition is corrosive, so you do want to make sure that you are cleaning regularly after firing surplus ammo. And my God, was surplus ammo cheap. Nowadays it's a little bit more, but it is what it is. So anyway, more on this rifle. This, like I said, this is my Mosin. I've had several of them throughout the years, but this is my most recent one. And I refinished the stock because when I got it, I actually purchased it at a Cabela's, which is a kind of funny story in and of itself. They had several Mosins available, and I was looking at one that was double dated, which is the Ministry of Defense would take some of these rifles for their own, and then they would date them when they took them. So you might have had like a 1932 9130 that had been taken in 53, so it had 1932 or whatever / 53. So I was looking at that, and I thought it was a tad overpriced, and I started looking at other ones. They had like 4, and they had a couple round receivered ones, and they were okay. They wanted like $230 for them, which is insane, even today. And then I looked around, and I saw this one, and the stock was, it looked like somebody had tried to strip it, but just didn't really complete the job, or didn't do it very well. And I picked it up, and I said, that's okay. Hey, look at there, that's a hex receiver. Which what I mean by that is, you sort of see the angles there. It's just a little bit beefier receiver than the round, and a little bit more desirable. So anyway, I saw, it's a hex receiver. And then I looked at the markings. I was like, wow, that was made in the Tula factory. So this is a 1935 Mosin 9130, made in the Tula. And if you can't see it there, there's a star with an arrow through it. So that would have been one of the Tula markings. They had others. The markings did change over time. And I wasn't able to mess with the trigger there because I do have a trigger lock. But I worked the bolt, I said, well, that's a pretty smooth bolt, pretty nice. And it was numbers matching. I was able to go through it and look through, and it was numbers matching, which is, most people say, well, who cares? Well, actually, I do. but no, I mean, these things were through war, so parts could be changed out. It was not uncommon. So for a rifle from, pre-World War II, 1935, to be numbers matching, that's pretty cool. But like I said, I was able to work the bolt, and it was pretty smooth. I was like, okay, that's good. The sights on these are nothing special. The rear notch here is adjustable, but the actual notch is pretty small. So, when you're sighting up, it's pretty hard to see. So you have your front sight post there, and that's pretty large post, right? But if you don't have the corresponding nice back sight, it can be a little bit tough to see. But you can get on it. I've been able to shoot this a few times and have been successful with it, but the sights aren't great. They're military sights. So I got it home and I was playing around with it. I was like, oh yeah, bolt's good, sights are whatever. The bore is in really good condition, which of course, using corrosive ammo and the amount that could have been shot during wars could be quite extensive. But the bore looked good, and I was like, wow, this is looking great. So finally I got on there and I got on the trigger. Trigger's fantastic. Yeah, best trigger I've had in a stock Mosin ever. Ever. It breaks nice. You'll get some of these triggers that are very wobbly. They have a lot of movement. This one is straight as an arrow, man. This is a good trigger on this guy, which again, I mean, is a gripe that people have. The sights, the trigger, condition issues, obviously, are gripes people have. Another gripe people have is the bolt getting sticky when you've, got firing quite a bit. I'm not out there rapid firing with, I don't know, I probably only, the last time I took it out, probably only fired like 10 rounds out of it. Bolt guns, I don't sit there and fire over and over again. But, for this one, I was very impressed. The bolt it worked just fine. I had no problem with it. And I've seen a few Mosins where, because you load through the top. You just push them down, and it's got a clip guide right there, so you can put them on clips and feed them through. But I have met a few Mosins that it's just kind of tough to even get them loaded, and of course that makes it a very unhandy rifle. But this one, everything mechanically is in fantastic condition. So I just I stripped down what remaining finish it had on it, and sanded it down and added some stain. I meant to stain it a little bit darker, but the stain I got, it looked dark on the can, but sure as heck didn't in practice come out very dark. It's kind of more of a blonde look. And then of course you kind of have your two-tone woods here, which is just a natural thing. But I think I like it. I enjoy it. And you kind of, once you start buffing away some of this, you find some of the battle scars. And obviously I saw this one, stock repair there, which are pretty common. I could have been shot for all I know. It does have a little bit of a gash here. That could have been wood imperfection or, just handle. But, you reveal some of the scars that these rifles have seen, and it's pretty crazy. These were like the Soviet hammer. They were a tool, man. I mean, yeah, you fired them, they were a gun, but it wouldn't be uncommon to see other uses for these. I mean, like literally being a hammer. So, just something there. Another thing about this one is it does have these these brass end caps here, which are kind of neat. I guess I didn't position that very well, but anyway, not all of them had the brass. They eventually went to steel. That's more of a decorative thing. I don't think anybody was out on the battlefield comparing brass. It's like, hey, look, I got brass. I don't think that was a common thing to go around. But anyway, that was something that this one had. Being in those 30s, you'll see that. Another little feature here is that if you do want to take out the rounds, you can take them out through the bottom. The rifle does come apart reasonably easy. There are only a few screws, so I'm not going to do it. But so to start out, pull back your bolt. You pull the trigger. You can take the bolt out, and then there's one screw back here, one screw down here. Obviously, you want to take these bands off. You have 2 bands along the barrel. You would take those out. This wood piece would come out. Once you take those 2 screws off, I mean, the rifle comes apart, and you're on your way if you, for some reason, need to do that. And obviously, just to get the bolt back in, depress the trigger, and put it back home. These do have, just these steel butt plates to them. Some people complain about recoil with a Mosin. I personally find them very pleasant to shoot, but I can understand how some people would find them a little bit annoying. I don't have it here, that's what I was looking for, but I do keep a recoil pad just for people who, I have some higher caliber firearms anyway, but it'll sit right there on your shoulder just so if you need it. But personally, I think that these are pretty sweet shooters. I like the round. I don't think there's anything wrong with the round in and of itself. So anyway, yeah, that's the Mosin Nagant rifle. They're very nice rifles, but they are a mixed bag. You can get some bad ones, you can get some good ones. So you really just need to try them out before you buy now, especially now, because it isn't the time when we could buy cases for nothing. Buy the rifles for $60 to $80 a piece, and then just who cares what I got? I got a whole crate of them. I'll find one good one in the bunch. Being selective on these is a little bit more of a prevalency. So just something to keep in mind. But don't hate on the Mosin. They can be great rifles, especially for for anything from hunting to target to even starting someone on a basic bolt action. Like I said, the breakdown's real easy. It doesn't have a lot of crazy parts. This is something that somebody could learn with and have a higher caliber rifle with some history. And then you gotta love the history. I know here in the States we get a little bit America only, but you can appreciate. You should be able to appreciate something like this because they're a good hardy rifle. Like I said, the hammer of the Soviet Union for years and years and years. And fought alongside us in old WW2 as well. You would have saw Grands and so forth alongside their Grands and Enfields and Mosins. Oh my! But anyway, Mosin Nagant 9130, great rifle. Be selective, but everyone should have one of these in their safe. At least one, maybe 2, maybe 10. Whatever you want. So guys, thanks for stopping down. I appreciate you watching the videos. I've been getting a lot of support recently, and I appreciate all the subscribers. So continue to hit the old like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments, any questions or concerns or whatever. I try and answer what I can. And as always, hit the old subscribe button if you're new. I continue to try and put out content on a week-by-week basis. We'll see what we have in queue there. But thank you all for stopping by. You'll have a good one.